Hello again, this is Anna Kaiser with my second video. In my last video, I talked about God's faithfulness being my favorite theme from the Old Testament, and that humanity's sinful nature is a theme that intertwines with God's faithfulness throughout the Old Testament. These themes are important in their own right, as I talked a bit about in my last video, but now I want to look at how do they fit together in the bigger picture of the Old Testament storyline. That's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. So in this course so far, we have looked at how God created the world and humanity fell from that perfect design that God initiated. And I learned more about the context that the Old Testament is taking place in and the covenants that God established with his people throughout the Old Testament. And as we've covered more ground, the trajectory of the Old Testament really looks towards recreation. God is redeeming his creation to be restored to his original intent. In the beginning, God created the world, and he was with his creation. He was in relationship with his creation. And when we reach, if we fast forward, even past where we're at right now in history, but if we fast forward to the very end of this cosmic story, God is still going to be there with his creation. And kind of those two bookends, when he first creates the world and when he fully redeems the creation that has fallen, that's God with his creation. So, we know that we have a picture of the beginning and we're told about the end. And so the Old Testament is just kind of that progression. So where we see those two themes kind of playing, what part they play in that, the unfolding of the Old Testament, is we're seeing God remaining faithful. And every time that people are unfaithful, every time that people are in their sin nature, it's kind of like, is this going to be the end of the story? Like we know that we have, as Christians today we have a sneak peek. We know about Jesus, and we have a more full picture than the people who were receiving, or the Old Testament was written to, the people that were writing the Old Testament. So we know about Jesus, and we know God's full plan of redemption. But how those two themes play out, you see God's faithfulness, and then you see people fall away from the covenants and not be following God. And it's kind of takes your breath away. Like, is this going to be it for this theme that's happening here? Is this going to be it for creation? Because we see the flood, and that's almost the end. But God does bring Noah out of that, and promises not to bring destruction like that ever again. And every time you just wonder, every time that there's people breaking away from a right relationship with God, you wonder, is this going to be the end? And we see, as these two themes are playing out, just kind of walking step by step through the Old Testament, we see that nothing people do causes God to be out of character. There's no idolatry, that even though he commands us to be exclusive to him, and there are severe consequences, and we see how that just really tears apart God's heart and has bad results for the people that are in idolatry. We see that there's nothing that is causing him to completely abandon humanity or just throw in the towel on us as humankind. So we see that as God's faithfulness continues through the Old Testament, we see God, people's fallen nature continuing through the Old Testament. We see people turning back and putting their faith back into God, and him being able to reestablish a right relationship with those people. And that's something that's setting the groundwork up for Jesus, that we have this God that we know is faithful and trustworthy. And ultimately, we need a right relationship with him. And so we're seeing that those two themes, walking step by step through the Old Testament narrative, that just totally in line with that trajectory of God's creation and then a fall from his perfect intent and his redemption, his work of redemption. And we know we're going to come to the end of this cosmic story where we are all living in right relationship with God again, those of us expressing faith in him. So that is how those two themes, God's faithfulness and the brokenness of humans' broken nature, fit together into that bigger picture of the Old Testament storyline. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day.